Hey, this is C&D Channel. I'm Chris. This is also Chris.
How's it going?
And this is MMA for you. We're going to be doing our predictions for UFC on FX 3, Johnson versus McCall, which is going to happen on June 8th on FX with prelims on Fuel TV. What do you think of this overall card, man?
Looks pretty good to me.
Cool. Yeah, man. So, there's only 3 fights on the main card. The other card actually looks solid with some newbies, some guys that are going to come back from losses and whatnot. But there are definitely some solid fights on here, especially like Uncle Creepy versus Johnson. That's going to be pretty awesome. So, yeah, let's get right to it. Okay. Mighty Mouse, Demetrious Johnson is going to fight Uncle Creepy, Ian McCall, with the winner going to fight Joseph Benavidez. Who do you got, man? Who do you got, Chris?
Which fight was this again? I'm sorry.
Johnson versus McCall.
Johnson versus McCall. Who do I have on this? I have Demetrious Johnson.
Wow, Demetrious Johnson, how Mighty Mouse. Guy who fought for the 135-pound title against Dominic Cruz and lost every round.
That's correct. That's my guy.
Now, just to tell you, when they first fought, I actually had Demetrious Johnson winning, I predicted him to win. Going back to, when the fight actually happened, it was a draw. It turned out to be a draw. I personally thought that Ian McCall won the fight. I thought that he definitely had the superior wrestling and top control. His stand-up's good. Demetrious Johnson's stand-up is better, I think. They're both quick with really good cardio. Should be a close fight, similar to their first fight. Demetrious Johnson, he's a good wrestler. It's just Ian McCall was just taking him down a little more than Johnson could take him down, McCall down. And I felt that Johnson was the better striker among the two. Around the third round, McCall did get back mounted him, and started ground and pounding him. So yeah, I got Uncle Creepy, but Chris here's got Mighty Mouse.
That's correct.
Yep. Okay. Next fight after that, Charlie, the Spaniard Brenneman, fights Erick Silva. I got Erick Silva here, man. What do you think?
I'm gonna have to agree with you on this one.
Oh, really? Going for the prospect, huh?
That's absolutely correct.
What's so special about his? What do you think's so special about this guy?
I think he's got good stand-up. He's won 7 fights by submission.
Yeah.
Good power, strong Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Trains with Team Nogueira. You can't really go wrong there. So
yeah.
He's got a lot going for him.
Yeah, exactly, man, exactly. Trey Brenneman really is just a wrestler and a grinder. He's not much of a finisher, His wrestling stand-up's not that great. So he could test Erick Silva's wrestling for sure. However, Erick Silva is very dynamic. Obviously, if you're going to train with Team Nogueira, your ground game just, most guys I've seen from Team Nogueira have a great ground game. And Erick Silva is no exception to that. He's knocked out. He should have beat Carlo Prater. He pretty much knocked him out in the first minute if the referee didn't call it call illegal strikes. So yeah, Erick Silva, highly touted prospect in the welterweight division. It's good that he's fighting a guy that'll really test his wrestling, and the Spaniard here. But I think Erick Silva will prevail. I don't think he'll get grinded down. Okay. Next fight after that, we have Josh, the Dentist Neer, versus Mike Quicksand Pyle. I got Pyle winning this one, man. I think I've seen Neer. One weakness of Neer is his wrestling. He doesn't have that good of takedown defense. You saw it in the T-Bow fight. He does have good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but so does Quicksand. His specialty really is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So, who do you got, man?
I also got Pyle. I think he's got strong Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, good wrestling.
Yeah.
His striking has improved quite dramatically.
Oh, yeah, knocked out Ricardo Funk in his last round, man.
That's absolutely correct.
Fight, yeah.
And I don't know, he's a veteran. He's got a good game plan, and looks like he's got some momentum right now.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. Yeah. One thing I really like about him is his game planning. He does a lot of the game planning for the, if he's still with them, for the Team Couture guys. So that's the thing. He's one of the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu coaches there as well. If he's still there, I don't really know who's with what camp these days sometimes. Sometimes they switch so many times. Last I know. The thing with Neer is he did beat Ludwig in his last fight. He was actually losing that fight. He did get tagged, managed to get a scramble and choked out Ludwig in his last fight. But Pyle, like I said, he has good wrestling and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I think if he takes it to the ground, it's going to be pretty much all Pyle. And the stand-up, Neer has some pretty good stand-up. He's really gritty, really good chin, always pushing forward. But if Pyle, he's really good with game plans, improving striking, like I said, against Ricardo Funk. He showed it. So, yeah, I think Mike Pyle's going to win this one. Okay, on to the prelims. Okay, we got Scott Young Guns Jorgensen versus Eddie Wineland. Who do you got, man?
I got Jorgensen on this one.
Jorgensen, huh?
What about you?
Yeah, I got Spotty Scotty myself, actually.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Wineland. You saw a fight against like Faber or Benavides. He has strong takedown defense. One of the few guys that successfully uses body punches in MMA. His boxing is really strong. He is coming off a 2-fight losing streak, though, which kind of worries me. Also, sometimes he's so worried about the takedown, and I think you know this too, especially with Jorgensen being a wrestler, that he kind of doesn't pull the trigger on his punches. That's the thing. That's why I kind of got Scott Jorgensen. What do you have? What do you have with Scott Jorgensen here?
Why do I have Scott Jorgensen? I think he's got pretty good, decent stand-up, strong wrestling. He's a little bit flat-footed, but his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is good, and he's got good front chokes.
Man,
a strong chin.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. Speaking of front chokes, like you mentioned, man, there's that front choke where he seriously, as Chad George, he went for a takedown, sprawls. He gets him in a front choke position, lifts him up off the air, off the ground, still choking him, brings him against the cage, and chokes him out in the air.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I think Scott Jorgensen with his wrestling, Eddie Wineland can stuff the takedowns and is probably has the better stand up. So it does kind of worry me actually. But, I think Scott Jorgensen can take this. He is a bit flat-footed. He does hit hard, though. But, yeah, I'll go with Scott Jorgensen to win this. I think he will be able to eventually take the fight to the ground. Okay, next right after that, we have Mike Pierce versus the returning Carlos Eduardo Rocha. Okay, I got Mike Pierce winning this one.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. He fought Josh Koscheck last. He lost, but he should have won the fight. He had the superior stand-up. He did get taken down, but Koscheck didn't do much with it. And in this fight, Pierce does have strong wrestling, good power, and his stand-up's ever improving, too. What about you? What's up with Rocha, man?
I'm gonna have to respectfully disagree on this one.
Oh, what?
That's correct. What's going on? He's I know he's coming off a layoff, but his strong Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, he's got good strong Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, good sweeps, likes the leg locks, among other submissions. His stand-up is a little questionable, and his cardio is too, but I think he's got enough juice to pull it out and take this one.
With Rocha, actually, he had a really good showing with welterweight up-and-comer Jake Allenberger, and that makes a lot of people pretty high on Rocha, actually, and for good reason. This was a guy that was on the bottom and, side mount, grabs a Kimura from the bottom and sweeps Allenberger. I mean, seriously, he's really got that type of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu that you don't want to go to the ground with the guy. So, Mike Pierce, really good fighter himself, though. He's coming up. Even though he's coming off the loss of Koscheck, I think he'll be able to keep the fight standing, and we'll have the superior stand-up here. But Rocha's a guy I'm still looking out for. Okay, next fight after that, Lance I don't think it's Benoit. I think it's Benoist. It could be Benoit versus Seth Baczynski. I got Lance Benoist, man, undefeated, 6-0. In his last fight when I saw him fight Matt Riddle, showed really good fundamentals, just in his striking. He has some amateur boxing experience, and it showed. He has good kicks for a guy that's a boxer, and he showed some good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu defensively against Riddle, even using rubber guard. Who do you got, man?
Once again, I'm gonna have to respectfully disagree with you on this one. I got Seth Baczynski.
Really?
Yeah, he's got 10 submissions in his 22 fight career. Is that correct? He's a good finisher.
Yeah.
All his wins are by finish, right? Yeah. He trains at Power Team MMA.
Yeah, with Ryan Bader and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. He's pretty big for his weight class. And a good aggressive stand-up and good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And for those reasons, I got him taking down your boy Lance.
Benoist. Seth, if I'm not mistaken, his last fight, I believe, was with Matt Brown, and he won with a modified guillotine. He's definitely a guy that just goes for it. He's a guy that is looking for the finish. Huge for the weight class, 6'3", 170 pounds, and you're 6'3". How much you weigh, man?
I
just if you don't want to
weigh more than him, actually.
Are you as tall as this guy?
How tall is he?
He's 6'3".
He's 6. I'm not quite as tall as him, but how much do you weigh, sir?
I weigh 155.
Okay, well,
so
we're not in the same weight category.
I do worry about Seth, man. This guy, he also fought that Ultimate Fighter guy. I forget his name for a second. He's also really tall, big for a weight class, and he just went after him, man. This guy really if he throws a punch, it's to finish you, man. That's the thing. And it does make me worried. Lance, I hope he keeps his fundamentals. I can only hope that he just has good boxing, good range. Uses wrestling when he can, mixes his stuff in. But I got Lance winning this one. But Baczynski really scares me, actually.
That's good.
Yeah.
I hope he wins.
Okay, next fight after that we have Ultimate Fighter alumni Dustin Pague versus Jared Papazian. Who do you got, man?
I got Jared Papazian.
Same here, man. Same here.
Oh, you do?
Mm-hmm.
It's good. It's good to be on the same page.
Yeah. One thing I like about Papazian, you look at his last fight against Mike Easton. He was standing toe-to-toe with the guy. He's taking some tough flush shots. Wouldn't go down. Solid stand-up himself, man. Out of seven losses, 4 of them are by sub. None of them are by strikes. So, it goes to show his chin and his comfort level in the stand-up. With Peg, he's tall for the weight class. But his defense, you saw it in the Ultimate Fighter and in his fight against, I forgot if it's Clompton or someone else. But, he kind of threw wildly, got tagged, and it was all over for him. You know what I mean? He still has a lot of defensive holes, which is pretty sad. He's a really tall, lanky fighter. He has good reach. But, yeah, there's a lot of defensive holes with the guy. I think Jared Papazian's going to take this. Okay, next fight after that, we had the bad boy Leonard Garcia versus the returning Matt Grice. I got Grice here, and this kind of worries me because Leonard Garcia, like the Nam Fan fight where he got robbed.
Mm-hmm. He always gets robbed, but yeah.
Yeah, it was by Leonard Garcia.
Yeah.
And Garcia has this tendency of punching air, and the judges can't see that. I guess can't see that he hits air, and therefore give him the decision a lot of times. That's the thing, and I kind of worry about that with Grice. I kind of hope Grice just takes the fight to the ground. So, so you won't have that problem. But I'm gonna go with Grice. It's just Leonard Garcia honestly isn't that great of a fighter. He's a fun fighter. He's always in the fight. He's always a game opponent. It's not like Grice is that great either, but to me, a lot of guys are just better than Leonard Garcia. What do you think, man?
I got Leonard Garcia on this one.
Oh, really?
I mean, for all the reasons that you pointed out against him, I think his stand-up might be wild and he might throw a lot of punches and he hits the air, but he's got a good chin and he's aggressive and hopefully he can steal another one from Matt Grice in the same fashion that he does Nampan.
Cool. Well, next right after that we have Jake Hecht versus Sean Pierson. I got Jake Hecht winning this one. Just a well-rounded fighter. 3 wins by KO TKO, 5 wins by sub. And he's only 28. He did lose his last fight against Waldberger. Waldberger's got a very diverse and creative submission game. He fought Rich Antonino and beat him by TKO before that, though. I like what I see from Jake Hecht. Who do you have winning this one?
I have Pierson on this one. I'm gonna have to disagree with you. He's got good boxing, good Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and I think he's just got the right stuff to take out Mr. Jake Hecht in this one.
I do like Pierson's use of the jab. That's the thing. And his ground game actually was pretty good against Dong Hyun Kim.
Stun gun.
Yeah, against the stun gun. He was on his back a couple times. I think he was on top one time too. But he held his own. He didn't really get into super bad positions, if I remember. Of course, he got crane kicked by stun gun. But otherwise, yeah. I like Pierson enough, but I think Jake Hecht is going to win this one. Okay, next right after that, Caio Magalhaes makes his UFC debut against another guy making his UFC debut, Buddy Roberts. Who do you got, man?
I got Mr. Buddy Roberts.
He's your buddy, huh?
I can't say that we're friends, but he does train with Jackson MMA.
Greg Jackson.
Who I'm pretty close with, but I'm kidding. I think he's got Magalhaes' number.
One thing about Magalhaes, you gotta go with these Nova União guys these days. Jackson Camp versus Nova União right here. So this is pretty interesting. Nova União obviously produced guys like Jose Aldo, Bellator bantamweight champion, Dudu Dantas, Marlon Sandro, Honey Marks. Who else is a part of Nova União these days? That's just killing it. Henan Barao, who's one of my favorite bantamweights as well. Because of just how good Nova União is these days, the guy goes Magalhaes. He only has 5 fights. He's 24 though. No one in Nova União has bad Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and they practice really wicked Muay Thai. And apparently, a lot of guys from Nova União have surprisingly good takedown defense as well. I gotta, honestly, in this fight, I'm gonna say it. I'm going with the fact that he's a Nova União guy. Could work against me, actually.
I hope it does.
Okay, next right after that, we have Bernardo Magalhaes versus Henry Martinez. Got Henry Martinez. How about you?
I have Henry Martinez too.
Cool, man. Cool. Henry Martinez, he lost against Matt Riddle in a fight I thought he kind of won. And he was fighting above his weight class. Riddle was huge compared to Henry Martinez, and Martinez showed some good striking, decent takedown defense, and he trains at Jackson's. This time, I'm picking the guy from Jackson's to win this one. What do you like about Martinez? Same stuff? Or?
Pretty much the same stuff. Yeah, I can't disagree with you on this one.
Yeah, with Bernardo, he looked really bad also in his last fight against Tim Means. His stand-up's kind of weak. He has good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but he looked pretty bad in his last fight. Okay, and finally, we got Tim Means versus Justin Salas. Okay, who do you got, man?
I got Mr. Tim Means.
Tim Means. Well, what's so special about Tim Means, man?
He's pretty tall for a lightweight. You know, he's on an
6'2", man. Yeah.
That's pretty tall. I mean, he could play in the NBA. You know, he's on an 8-game fight win streak. He's got good wrestling, good striking, and I think he's just got the stuff to beat Mr. Justin Salas.
Man, yeah. I got Salas in this. I think he's gonna be the superior wrestler here. He's on a 6-fight win streak, and he has good top control. He trains at Grudge with guys like Nate Marquardt, Brendan Schaub, I believe, changed there as well, and Shane Carwin. I do like Tim Means. Out of 17 wins, 12 of them are by KO or TKO, so Justin's got to watch out for that. But I think he'll be able to take the fight to the ground and win with superior top control there. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we will.
So, that's pretty much it for our predictions for UFC on FX3. If you have any comments, just leave them below. Got any final comments, man?
Not really, you know. I hope this is going to be, an exciting fight, and just looking forward to UFC on FX3.
Cool. And that's it for MMA for you. Thank you guys very much.